The Thompson family seemed to have it all. James, a successful 50-year-old corporate lawyer with a penchant for tailored suits, his stunning 40-year-old wife, Evelyn, who ran a thriving event planning business, and Evelyn's daughter from her first marriage, 22-year-old Lily, a college student with a rebellious streak. To their neighbors, the Thompsons were living the quintessential suburban dream. James was respected in his field. Evelyn was the epitome of grace and style, and Lily, despite her youthful defiance, appeared to be finding her way in life. But beneath this perfect exterior lay a web of secrets, tensions, and dangerous desires that would ultimately tear the family apart. James's first marriage to Margaret, Lily's mother, had been tumultuous. Margaret was an artist, with a wild spirit that clashed with James's more conservative lifestyle. Their constant arguments and differing life views eventually led to a bitter divorce when Lily was only 10. Margaret's untimely death in a car accident a few years later left Lily with unresolved feelings of abandonment and resentment. James, who had always struggled to connect with his daughter, found himself more at odds with her as she grew older. When he married Evelyn, who provided the stability and love he craved, he hoped it would bring some peace to their home. However, Lily, then a teenager, viewed Evelyn as an intruder, someone who could never replace her late mother. As time passed, the tension between James and Lily grew. Despite Evelyn's efforts to bridge the gap between them, Lily remained distant, her rebellious behavior escalating in subtle but telling ways. She often skipped classes, partied late into the night, and her academic performance deteriorated. While James tried to maintain a semblance of order in the household, he often turned a blind eye to Lily's antics, hoping that she would eventually outgrow her defiance. The catalyst for the Thompson family's downfall came one fateful afternoon. James had returned home early from work, hoping to surprise Evelyn with a quiet dinner. As he entered their bedroom, he noticed Evelyn's phone buzzing on the nightstand. Curious, and perhaps with a hint of suspicion, he picked it up. The message preview on the screen made his blood run cold. "Can't wait to see you later." The message was from a man named Michael, a name James didn't recognize. His heart pounded as he unlocked the phone, his mind racing with possibilities. Over the next several minutes, James read through a series of messages that revealed an affair between Evelyn and this mysterious Michael. The texts were filled with passion, secrets, and promises of a future that didn't include him. Shock and betrayal coursed through James as he realized his marriage was a lie. James was too lost in his thoughts to notice Lily entering the room. The young woman, with her keen sense of observation, quickly picked up on the tension. She saw her stepfather's ashen face and the phone clutched tightly in his hand. With a casual yet probing tone, she asked what was wrong. James, still reeling from his discovery, hesitated for a moment before showing Lily the messages. She read them with an expression that was unreadable, her eyes narrowing slightly as she handed the phone back to him. But instead of offering comfort or advice, Lily's mind began to churn with possibilities. Here was an opportunity, a chance to finally have power over the man she resented. Lily had never liked James, had never forgiven him for what she saw as his failure to keep her family together. And now, she had the perfect leverage. Later that evening, after Evelyn returned home, Lily approached James in the study, a sly smile playing on her lips. She casually mentioned that she knew about the affair and that she was willing to keep it a secret, if he made it worth her while. James, taken aback by her audacity, demanded to know what she wanted. Lily didn't mince words. She wanted money, $1,000 a month, transferred discreetly to her account. In exchange, she would keep Evelyn's infidelity a secret. James was torn. He couldn't believe that Lily, the girl he had helped raise, would stoop to blackmail. But as she laid out her demands, the reality of his situation hit him. If Evelyn's affair became public knowledge, it would ruin his reputation, his career, and possibly his marriage. He reluctantly agreed, hoping that this arrangement would be temporary, but Lily was not satisfied with just money. As the weeks passed, her demands grew more frequent and bolder. She began to treat James with a newfound disdain, pushing him further into a corner. She demanded that he give her access to his credit cards, let her use his car whenever she wanted, and even began skipping classes more brazenly, knowing that James wouldn't dare confront her about it. Evelyn noticed the tension in the house, but whenever she asked, both James and Lily deflected her concerns, each two caught up in their own web of lies to seek a way out. The turning point came on a stormy evening in November. Lily, emboldened by her control over James, decided to up the ante. She cornered him in the kitchen, where the hum of the refrigerator was the only sound in the tense silence. She demanded a larger sum, threatening to expose not only Evelyn's affair, but also fabricate stories that could damage his reputation even further. She hinted that she could suggest to others that James had been inappropriate with her, knowing that even the whisper of such accusations could destroy him completely. James, now fully aware of the monster he had unwittingly helped create, was at his breaking point. He knew he couldn't continue living under Lily's control, but the thought of the scandal that would ensue if the truth came out kept him paralyzed. That night, as he lay awake in bed, the weight of his situation pressed down on him, suffocating him with a sense of hopelessness he hadn't felt since his divorce from Margaret. Desperate, James decided he needed to take drastic action. He began to gather evidence of Lily's blackmail, recording their conversations, saving text messages, anything that might help him regain control of his life. He also reached out to an old friend from law school, a private investigator who specialized in delicate matters. They met in secret, and James laid out the entire sordid tale, hoping that his friend could help him find a way out. The investigator, after hearing James's story, advised caution. He suggested they wait for the right moment to confront Lily, to build an airtight case that would not only expose her blackmail, but also mitigate the damage to James's career and reputation. James agreed, albeit reluctantly, as he knew that time was running out. The situation came to a head just before Christmas. The Thompsons were hosting their annual holiday party, a grand affair that drew many of Oakdale's elite. The house was decked out in festive decorations, the air filled with the sounds of holiday cheer. But beneath the surface, the tension was palpable. Lily, dressed to the nines, moved through the crowd with a confidence that bordered on arrogance. She had James exactly where she wanted him, and she knew it. As the night wore on, James found himself cornered by Lily once more. This time, her demands were outrageous: $10,000 by the end of the week, or she would destroy him and Evelyn both. James, already teetering on the edge, snapped. He told Lily that he was done, that he wouldn't give her another cent. For the first time, he saw a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes, but it was quickly replaced by anger. Their confrontation, though quiet, was intense. Lily hissed threats, her voice low but venomous. James, his own anger finally boiling over, stood his ground, refusing to back down. The two were locked in a battle of wills, each refusing to give an inch. But James had an ace up his sleeve. Unbeknownst to Lily, the investigator had been discreetly recording their exchange from a hidden camera in the study. As the party wound down and the guests began to leave, James knew that the endgame was near. He had the evidence he needed, but the question remained: would he have the courage to use it? That night, as the last of the guests departed, James made his move. He confronted Evelyn with the evidence of her affair and Lily's blackmail, laying everything out on the table. Evelyn, stunned and devastated, had no idea that her own daughter had been manipulating her husband. The following morning, Evelyn and James confronted Lily together. Faced with the undeniable proof of her actions, Lily's bravado crumbled. She lashed out, accusing James of ruining her life, of never loving her as a daughter. But the weight of her own guilt and the reality of her actions finally crashed down on her, leaving her in tears. In the end, James decided not to press charges, but the damage had been done. Lily was sent away to live with relatives in another state, where she could start fresh, far away from the chaos she had caused. Evelyn, heartbroken by the betrayal of both her daughter and her husband, filed for divorce. James, left alone in the once grand home, had to come to terms with the consequences of his actions and the shattered life that remained. The Thompson family, once the envy of Oakdale, was now a cautionary tale of secrets, betrayal, and the dangers of unchecked power.